Hey guys, wanted to hang out with you today and kind of chat about a subject that's been on my mind and that I've kind of wanted to talk about for a while, and I've actually been asked by some of you guys just about this subject. I've watched a few YouTubers and I've talked to some friends, and I'm coming to realize, about this topic of anxiety. And it's funny because for years I just said, oh, I don't suffer from anxiety. Maybe, I didn't know why I acted or reacted to certain situations my whole life. And in the last year, and more so in the last 6 months, I've learned a lot about myself and how much I can tolerate, how much I can take, and why I react a certain way in certain situations. The only reason why I didn't really think that I had anxiety at all, in general, at all, is because most of the anxiety that either friends of mine or people I've seen online discuss about, I didn't relate to it, and I didn't have that type of anxiety. You've heard of people who have anxiety towards maybe traveling, maybe flying, maybe towards going out in public places. Medical anxiety, maybe hospitals, I don't know, it's just phobias and fears and all that stuff. And I have some strange phobias and fears anyways. But the only reason why I didn't think that I had it was because I didn't have that particular anxiety. I've come to discover and learn that I have more social anxiety, and it has to do with people. And I could have anxiety towards maybe a place, and not because of that particular place, but because of the people in that place, if that makes sense. So the result is always people. And it's not like I'm afraid of people. I'm just more, I guess you could say, a fear of strangers, people I don't know. And I've been this way my whole entire life. For example, I don't want to talk about my whole entire life, but for example, when I was in junior high, I had so much, and I didn't know at the time that it was anxiety. I just thought I was just scared, I was terrified and had major anxiety just about my classmates and people in general. So I was prepared when school started, that I had one of those thick, fabric type binders that had the zipper on the side, I always made sure I had plenty of paper, so I never had to borrow paper, plenty of pens or pencils, so I never had to borrow any. I always had a pencil sharpener, I always had a mini stapler, and a little mini tape dispenser, eraser. I made sure I had every tool you could think of, so that if the opportunity came where, let's say we did a project in school and we needed to staple our paper, I made sure I did not have to get up out of my seat to staple anything or tape anything or sharpen a pencil. I had this fear of getting up out of my seat to go walk and go staple my paper, which is not a big deal. When I think back about it now, I'm just it's not like your classmates would care. They don't care. I don't know, I just had this fear that they were all gonna look at me, or I don't know, and it wasn't about me, and I don't know, I just had this fear of attention. It was more fear of attention, and I didn't want eyes on me whatsoever. I wanted to be invisible, and for the most part I kind of was. But I didn't want any sort of attention. Even when I was little, whenever we'd have school plays and stuff, or activities at church or whatever that involved being on stage, hated it. I never liked it. I just fear. And it just that gradually grew. And it's interesting because I don't talk a lot about me here on my channel, but just a little part of my life. When I was in high school, I was a part of my youth group at church at the time, and I was on the worship team, where you play songs about Jesus every Sunday and every Wednesday, and practices and all that stuff. I was very involved. And that was fine for me. Somehow I got somewhat used to it, but it was also a smaller group of people. I was surrounded by people I knew, my friends, people I recognized, and it was smaller. And then I got the opportunity to go in like the big adult church and like play music there. That was a little more intimidating and a little more scary, but long story short, none of that worked out. That's a whole different, I don't even know if I want to talk about church on my channel. That's a whole different topic that I don't know if I want to discuss that at all. But anyways, that was interesting to see how like I would go from like I don't want attention. I don't know, it's weird. It's like I don't want attention, but that kind of stuff was still fun to me. And so it was like a struggle to find a balance. And to kind of fast forward to now, I've had some situations where like I don't get out much. I'll tell you that. I don't really get out much. I don't leave my house too often, and if I do, I always hang out at the local coffee shop with people that I know there, that work there. They go, like, me and my husband used to go there like every day, and then he got a new job, and so I go whenever I feel like it. If I feel like I always walk there, or we all are always there on the weekends, and that's usually the only time I get out. And then there's this like little pub brewery place like down the street that I'll go to sometimes, but I'll even have anxiety there just because of people and because of strangers. And what do you call it, like the tell-all moment, the light bulb moment of, wow, this is social anxiety. I went to a friend's birthday party, and this was a few months ago, and it was a themed party. It was a murder mystery party, and I have never been to one before. I was invited. I knew 2 people there, besides my brother and my husband. Oh, and my mom was there. But there's a bunch of other people. I want to say like 10 or 15 people, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, something like that. Just a lot of people I didn't know, and I was prepared for that. The theme of the party was like, what would you call this theme? It was like everyone had a role, and you were like some sort of ambassador to a country. Very government political theme. I don't know, a theme that I know nothing about. And we were kind of last minute invites, so they just kind of gave us a part just so we could come. And we get there, and I already have anxiety because I've never played this kind of a game at a party before, because you show up in character, I guess, and I didn't know anything. And I just go in as myself, and I'm, meeting people, but everyone else is in character. And because I didn't know anybody, like who they are as a person, I couldn't I couldn't separate the character from the person because I don't know the person. So meeting their characters, I'm a little confused because I'm like, wait, are they telling me these things because that's their character, or is this how they really are? Are they really just, some of them would be kind of a little snotty, but that was their character because they were from a certain country and they were like the leader or whatever. And so I was kind of struggling trying to talk to some people. I was just struggling talking in general. I don't talk. And anyone who was at that party, they could probably back me up on that, because I did not talk. And then it was funny because I didn't know, I just feel dumb. I didn't know that I was supposed to research my country, and I can't remember what mine was. It doesn't matter, because but everyone's in character, and they're asking me information like, so what's the weather like in your country? And I'm like, I don't know. And I'm a horrible liar. Like, if I'm not prepared, like for acting, like if I'm not prepared, I can't do improv. It's impossible for me. My brother is great at improv, so he did great at the party. My husband's pretty good at coming up with things. I'm awful. I'm just like, the truth. Speaking my mind. I have no idea what the weather's like. So how are women treated in your country? I don't know. It was awful. And so for one, I felt stupid. And then they were probably a little like confused, like, does she know how to play this game? I don't know. No one was rude or anything. but they weren't going anywhere with me, so they just move on, right? And I'm like kind of having some anxiety, a little stressed out a little bit, but I'm trying to have fun. And you know, there's a few friends there, a few people, a friend with her friends, you know, and they're out of character, and we're just hanging out, and I was glad for that. But then eventually, you know, you break off. This is getting ridiculously long. Long story short, it gets to the part, like, the whole point of the game, right? So a few people are chosen to kill some of the people in the murder mystery. Obviously murder mystery. I was given the task to murder people, right? So how you murder someone is you have these gold sticker stars, and when you get the right opportunity, you put a sticker star underneath their glass of beverage, whatever they're drinking. I was able to put them on 3 glasses, I think, but that was already like stressing me out. Just trying to like sneak a star sticker underneath someone's glass. I think I got my mom. And that was it. I don't know what happened to the other 2 stickers because they weren't sticking that great. And my brother was like my accomplice, so he was helping me. Then it came time to where they had to do an interrogation of like, okay, these people are dying and we need to figure out who's done it. Well, first they go, okay, everyone look under your glass. If you have a star, you're dead. You know, so then it came to, let's solve the mystery and find out who murdered these people. And I'm like, oh, shoot. I wanted to go, it was me. Like, I just wanted to give up and just be like, I surrender, red, white flag. But they started like questioning people and like interrogating them, and they would bring someone one at a time in the back where all the people who were murdered, they would interrogate you and ask you questions. I'm like hiding, I'm like grabbing a drink and I'm having food and I'm like trying to hide and walk away, and like I'm stressing out because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm hearing the questions from the other room, and the people that are coming out from interrogation, they're like laughing and having fun and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, maybe it's not so bad. Then they call me in the back, right? And I'm back there and they start, they're in character. So they're very intimidating. And mind you, these people are fantastic actors. Like, they are way into character, really good at it. But it terrified me. Because for one thing, I don't know who they are as a person, so I can't separate their character from their person. Because for all I know, I just know their character. And their character is very intimidating and very scary. The 2 who were murdered was my mom and her friend, and I knew them and I could kind of separate the character from the person, so I was a little more comfortable with them. But the other people were very just like, so what were you doing? Did you ever speak with this person or this person? And then if I'd say, oh yeah, and I was myself, I wasn't my character, and then they go, oh, so you did see them? And I'd be like, well, yeah, like I saw them walking by me. And they're like, oh, so, you know. And it was just like, I can't even remember the questions they were asking, like, and making me stutter, like, well, and it was like a dumb question. It was kind of like, did you have any of the punch? And I'd be like, oh yeah, it was good. And like, oh, did you really have a taste? And I'd be like, oh yeah, it was good. Well, what was the taste like? And I was like, well, it was like berries. And I'm like, how did you know it was berries? Did you put the berries, you know? So it was like that. I can't remember the questions. It was just stuff like that where they were, I don't know, it's just interrogating me. And I don't know. And I didn't like just go, okay, it was me, I put a sticker on my mom's cup. I didn't say that. I wish I did, but I almost did. But I was like I was actually scared that I was in trouble. How pathetic is that? So I was just, I was mortified, and was embarrassed and just mad at myself because I kept stuttering and like totally just like, I'm like, dude, I'm stuttering, sorry. I need to calm down. It was overwhelming. It was mean. How would I describe it? It was like they were being mean, but in a playful way. It was playing the game, and they were in character and pretending to be mean. And like, I was so overwhelmed. My heart was pounding, my chest is tight, and I'm like having a hard time breathing, and I'm terrified. Like, I'm honestly terrified that I am in trouble, even though I know logically my brain is telling me this is just a party. Everyone's playing. These people are not mean. Like, these people, because even though I don't know them, I know that they're good people because I'm friends. We have mutual friends that are amazing people. And I'm like, they're not going to have assholes at the, excuse my language, assholes at the party. As I excuse my language and then say it again. All right. Anyways, I'm only apologizing for those of you who don't like cussing. But I know that these people they're not bad people. They're playing a character. I know this. However, I don't know who they are or how they act in normal life. So I am unable to, like, separate their mean, interrogating, intimidating character. So I'm, like, majorly panicking. And then I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, I'm recognizing this feeling because I have had 2 anxiety attacks in my life. Like, major, where I am physically affected, like, to a point where I'm going to have to leave, right? At least in a public setting. I've only been affected like this in a public setting 2 other times. I've had many little episodes, but usually I'm able to control it and able to it to not escalate. But in this instance, it escalated to a point where I recognized it because I've had this before. And I didn't know what to do. And I couldn't talk. I couldn't speak. After I leave the interrogation, they're all laughing and like, this is fun. And I'm thinking, this is far. What is fun anymore? This is far from fun. And I go and I sit down and I'm like almost hyperventilating. And my brother's sitting there and I look at him and I'm like, I don't know if I can handle the fake meanness. Like, and that's all I was able to say. And he was like, yeah, it is a little hard when you don't know the people. And I was like, yeah. And then Adam comes over, my husband, he comes over and I just look at him and he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, and I just could, you know, like when you have that person in your life, even it could be a friend, it could be a parent, a family member, a best friend, it could be your husband, spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. It's that person that comes over to you and you just, all you want to do is you just want to break down, like you can't speak. And you know if you do, you're going to lose it. And all I could do is stare at him. And he's like, well, why aren't you talking? And I'm like, it's like, I wanted to like telepathically tell him, or like with my eyes. I'm really bad at talking with my eyes. Some people can do that. But I just wanted to go, if I speak, I'm going to lose it. And so, finally he like leaned over closer to me, like to block my face from anyone else. And he was like, what's wrong? And I was like, I'm having an anxiety attack, I think. And I was like, I have to go outside. And that was like all I was able to mutter, like out of my mouth. I was like, I have to go outside. I have to go outside. I have to leave. And so he's like, okay. And so I just head straight for the front door and he's right behind me. And I go out the front door and everyone's like, wait, are you leaving? And Adam's like, no, we're not leaving. And they're like, wait, come back. Wait, we're not done interrogating. Blah. You know, and I just leave and I go all the way down to the end of the driveway, sit at the end of the driveway, and then just release all of the, just everything. Just hyperventilating, tears, you know, just total panic, anxiety attack to the extreme at the end of the driveway. And I'm panicking, I'm scared, I'm traumatized, I'm also angry at myself because I'm like, this is my friend's birthday party and I feel bad. I feel bad for one because I don't want to make a scene. I don't want attention, which is why I went outside. I didn't want to have a breakdown in the kitchen in front of everybody. I did not want that attention at someone's birthday party. I wanted to remove myself, have my little breakdown where I'm not in front of anybody, and, you know, I just had to make sure that I just left. And I didn't want anyone to worry about me, because I'm like, this will go away in a little bit. My brother came out, my mom came out, my husband stayed with me for a little bit, and then and I felt bad because I'm like, no, you guys go back inside and have fun. I'm going to recover here. And I will recover shortly. Like I didn't want them to not have fun because I'm bawling my head off and hyperventilating you know, and so it was the birthday party the friend was for, his sister came out and like sat with me, and she knew all the right things to say, she knew all the right things to do, and kind of just was there and was helping me like properly breathe, you know. It was like she knew exactly what to do. And at this time I was familiar with these feelings, but I was not familiar with why I reacted this way. I didn't really know that this was because of anxiety. I didn't want to just call it anxiety. I mean, I said to my husband, I think I'm having an anxiety attack. But I only said that because I think I am, because at the time I didn't want to just say that I am, because I didn't know, if that makes sense. And so, when I was finally calmed down, you know, it took me like 2 days to recover from that. And it was just, my chest was sore from the breathing and I was just worn out, and I started to really think about it, and it's like I learned my boundaries when it comes to people. And it was a bizarre experience because I've never had one like that with that many people around. The first panic anxiety attack that I ever had, it was in relation to church, which that's a whole different subject. It happened a very, very long time ago. I'm pretty much over it. But that was the last really, really bad one that I ever had. But it's just, it was bizarre. Like I now know my limits with people, and especially strangers. And I don't want to just not go out because of people. And I find myself, like, when I go out, like, if I go to a pub or whatever, if I'm meeting friends, or I'm going to a brewery or something, and I'm meeting people, if I can't go by myself, and if I go in and there's, like, nowhere to sit, I start to have, like, anxiety. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then people look at, anytime you walk into a restaurant, a coffee shop, and you walk in the door, people look at you. Like, it doesn't matter what you look like. I mean, I look at people who first walk into wherever, and I'm like, I always look. It's just natural. It's not against that person. It's just like, oh, new person coming in. And then you go back to your business. I personally, when I walk through a door and then people look at me, I'm like, oh, don't look at me. Can I just be in like an invisible bubble, please? And I have a little bit of anxiety, but I always push myself through it. And once I get comfortable, once I'm fine, you know, I'm familiar with my surroundings and the people around, then I'm totally fine. And not a problem. I can socialize and hang out, and it's good. But it's just interesting. I always like to call it, like when I'm in a place where there's a lot of people, like I went to that Captain Picard Day event in Portland at the comic book shop, and when I was there was so many people. Like, there was a lot of people in this tiny shop, and I had some anxiety the whole time, just like, all these people that I don't know, and we're bumping elbows and shoulders are touching, and it's hot, and you know. And I always use the words stranger danger because to me they're dangerous because I don't know them. I don't know who they are, but also I like to give people the benefit of the doubt and be like, well, what if they're a totally cool person? What if we could be friends? So I struggle. I'm really terrible with people sometimes, especially when I'm invited to a social setting where I don't know anybody. So I learned that about myself, very much so. I don't know, it's just interesting. And the term social anxiety came up right after that birthday party. And overall, I don't want to just put the birthday party down. Overall, the birthday party was a lot of fun, and everyone else had a lot of fun, and no one, like, hated me for, like, leaving for that short amount of time. And then I, like, hid in a bedroom to calm down, too, because it was freezing cold outside. But, like, everyone was fine, and no one, like, people understood, and it's not like someone went in and announced that I had a panic attack or whatever. So it was fine. Like, overall, the birthday party was fun. And I've like hung out a couple times with some of those people that I met that night, like afterwards. So I got to kind of see them afterwards and, you know, realize that they're not scary, you know. It's so weird. I don't know. But yeah, so afterwards, you know, I find out the term social anxiety, and I was like, that's gotta be it. Like that's it, because when I am around strangers, or if I meet new people, if I'm at a party where there's people I don't know, I have anxiety towards those people. And it's nothing against them, you know, which this is one reason why I've talked about having a meet and greet in Portland, because so many people, like some of you, like live in Portland, or can travel to Portland area, you know, and have like said, hey, we should have a meet and greet, and I would love to meet some of you guys. But this is one reason why I haven't set one up, because like if I were to set one up, I would have this anxiety feeling towards just strangers in general. It's nothing against you guys, it's just people I don't know. But also when I think about it, if I think about knowing who to expect, you know, like if some of you guys were like, I'm totally coming to meet you, you know, I might feel a little better, because then you're not really too much of a stranger, if that makes sense, because you see me on here. So I mean, I don't know if that makes any sort of sense. But this is also one reason why I quit doing shows, like jewelry shows. I've done maybe 3 or 4 in my whole career, which is like 5 or 6 years that I've been doing jewelry, and I've done like 3 or 4 shows, and I just refuse to do them because of social anxiety, because of people, and because of some stupid people. Like I've had dumb people come to my booth before and just, I don't know, put my stuff down, which I respect people's opinions, but that's not helping me like people anymore. So I quit doing shows, and I probably won't. I don't ever plan on doing any sort of jewelry show. I like the idea of it. It's kind of like I like the idea of a meet and greet, but to actually do one, I just have anxiety. So I don't know. It's always people oriented, social anxiety, people oriented. So what I would like to know, because this video is just way too long already, it's almost 30 minutes. Do any of you suffer from social anxiety, and how do you guys deal with it? I mean, I manage, you know, I don't feel like it's at a point where like something's wrong. I feel like maybe mine is a little more normal, not out of the ordinary. But, and I don't just like tell people, hey, I don't want to come out because I have social anxiety. It's like, I don't really want to tell people that I have some, you know, form of anxiety at all. It's not like I'm proud of it, because I get frustrated at myself for not being able to do certain things, or I will push myself. But what's worse is when you actually do push yourself to do something, and then it just backfires, or it just doesn't work out, or it just sucks, and then it just makes you never want to go out ever again. You know, that's happened a couple times where I'm like, okay, I need to get out of the house, so I will go be social, and then I get social, and it's not fun. Like, maybe the people aren't nice, or maybe people are uncomfortable, or it's just a weird night, it's just not working out, and then you're just like, man, this just is awful, this is not fun, and then you go home and you're like, I'm never going out ever again. But yeah, so I manage, and it's not to a point where I have to where I feel concerned. I'm becoming more aware of it, and understanding where my limits are, and knowing my boundaries, and where I need to set boundaries for myself, so that way I can be with strangers and be around people, but to also know where the limit is. And like, and I also like hope that like my close friends understand that too, and like, hey, I'm sorry I'm acting this way at your party, this is why, just so you know. You know, if I am quiet, if I don't talk to anybody, if I just hide in a little corner in the back room away from all of your guests, this is why. Because I'm trying to study people from afar. I'm like a wallflower. Blah. So man, I have so many other stories that I would love to share, but if you would like me to talk about more of this stuff, just let me know down below. I mean, I don't really talk about me on my channel. ever. So let me know if you want me to do more of this. I don't know. Sorry this is so long. It's 30 minutes. Are you still watching me like talk? Like you still want to hear me talk? This is weird. So, and I'm not even gonna edit this video because it's on my phone. That's stupid. So yeah, let me know down below. And I love you guys, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.